Welcome back to OnToReviews. Today we're going to make coffee gelato, and I'm going to test two of the ice cream makers that I've reviewed this week. We're going to put the higher end Cuisinart ice cream dessert maker to the test versus a lower price point Cuisinart 2-quart ice cream maker. And we're going to see how each compare and whether it's worth the investment to spend your money on the higher cost Cuisinart versus the more affordable ice cream maker. Subscribe to OnToReviews if you haven't already. We test products in our kitchen using real recipes. We vet them, we let you know the pros and the cons so that you can make an informed decision in what to invest in your kitchen. So let's get on to reviews. Okay, to start, some of the obvious comparisons between these two machines is the price. So this is currently $379.99 on Amazon, and this is going for $89.95 on Amazon. So this one comes with a compressor, so you can almost make ice cream on the fly when you want. And it usually takes under an hour to do so, where this one has an inner ice bucket here, and you need to freeze that for at least a day or so before you can make ice cream. You can't make multiple batches, you have to wait day by day. Another option is you could purchase an extra tub. You could have a few pre-frozen to do so. However, you do need the space in your freezer to freeze this. So that is another thing to think about. We're gonna make an egg-free coffee gelato today. I'm gonna just half the recipe in each, and we're gonna set the timer on this one a little bit sooner. This takes 50 minutes and this should take about 25 minutes. We'll set it so that each end at the same time, and we'll check out the consistency and see if there's much of a difference. So the first step is we are going to make some espresso. So I'm gonna use my Breville Barista espresso maker, which we have reviewed in the past. We'll link that below as well. And we're gonna use Danger Coffee today, which we've been using for many years. It's actually mold free and I highly recommend it. We can link that below for you as well. We have a subscription for it. So what we'll need is half a cup of espresso. So let's get that going on here. And once it's done, we'll let it rest at room temperature and sort of cool down before we add it to our cream base. In the meantime, I'm gonna add half a cup of sugar, which is actually less than the recipe calls for, but that's why I like making ice cream at home, is that you can modify and lessen the sugar in your desserts. And I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And we're going to then add a pinch of salt, and I'm using that refined salt that I've purchased to make all of the ice creams this week. So we'll add that, and we're gonna whisk that together. It's really important that the xanthan gum gets well incorporated so it doesn't get clumpy when you make your ice cream. And in the meantime, I'm heating 2 cups of whole milk. We just wanna get that to a simmer. We don't want it to hit a boil. And now I'm gonna add the dry ingredients, and I'm gonna whisk that in for about 3 minutes until the sugar is dissolved and well incorporated. And now that that's done, I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream to the mixture. And we're gonna use our Immersion blender, which was also reviewed last week, and we'll link that below. And I'm gonna whisk those ingredients together for about 60 seconds. And it's really important that we whisk that and get it nice and incorporated and frothy. So now that that's done, I'm gonna cover it up with saran wrap, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge for at least 6 hours until the mixture is nice and cool. Okay, so we cooled the coffee gelato mixture in the fridge for over 6 hours now, so it's nice and cool and ready to go. And we're gonna get started to compare the texture and the quality between these two ice cream makers. This one takes 50 minutes and this one will take 25 minutes. So I'm gonna get started on this one first, and then we'll pour the other half of the mixture into this shortly after so that we can see the results real time straight out of the machines. So just to note, this Cuisinart model comes with 2 paddles, and this one is the gelato paddle. The ice cream paddle just has a single blade, so to speak. These are not sharp. This one is for gelato. So we're gonna place this in here on the top. I'm just gonna give this a little stir, and then we'll reincorporate the ingredients a little bit more before we start the process. So I'm just gonna pour about half of the mixture here, and then I'm gonna put the rest in the fridge. This takes 25 minutes more, so we'll get this started, and then we'll come back and I'll pour the other half of the mixture into this machine. And again, you just wanna make sure that these tabs are lined up on the base here, and then there's an arrow on the lid here, and you'll line that up with the unlock symbol on the maker and just give it a twist to lock. There we go. Okay. Let's hit power, and then we're gonna set the timer for 50 minutes. And start. So I'm gonna get that back in the fridge, and then we'll come back and we'll get this one started. Okay, this is beeped, it's gone 50 minutes, this has gone 25 minutes, so let's take this out and see how it looks. This consistency is quite hard. So the condenser unit, I can see, definitely gets this to like a nice servable chill. You could serve this right out of the ice cream maker. A lot of the cheaper ice cream makers, or the faster ones, so to speak, you do get like a soft serve consistency, so that you have to either eat it with the soft serve consistency if you like that, or re-chill it. And then when you re-chill it, you do get like a harder consistency from there. So there's like no in between. So that's a definite noticeable difference between the two makers. Let's just get all of that. It's really good, super flavorful, big coffee taste in there. And the texture is almost as though you went to like a gelato shop for like quadruple the price. So let's take a look at this one before it melts. So this one's a lot softer. I don't have to scrape it off the paddle itself. I can just get it straight out of the tub like that. Okay. But again, you know, it's softer, but I think it's still like a nice consistency if that's, you know, what you like as well. So this time around, my previous review, I had a little bit of a jiggle in the liquid, so it wasn't completely frozen. I didn't give it a fair chance, but I can see that making sure that you freeze this is important. And by the way, while I was starting the process for the 25 minutes with this machine, I popped this back in the freezer because anything at room temperature will ruin the whole process, and it'll take about 16 hours or so to refreeze it. So I popped that into the freezer before we started the process for 25 minutes on this guy. Okay, let's give this one a try. That one's nice too. It's not as hard as this one. As I said, it's a softer consistency. So if you're meticulous about your gelato texture, this one was definitely the closest to that. And if you're deciding between the two, because these are both really great gelatos, to be honest, you'll just want to think about how you want to make your ice cream and how much space you have in your freezer. You have to store this in your freezer for over 24 hours. You have to pre-plan to make ice cream with this guy. This one, you just chill the mixture as you do for both of these recipes, and you just hit play essentially, and in 50 minutes you got gelato that's ready to eat, no freezing needed. So overall, both of these makers are great. They do a great job. The decision is up to you in terms of how you want to make your ice cream. Are you a pre-planner, or do you like to make something on the fly? And do you have storage for something that's a little bit larger? So I hope this review was helpful for you. I highly recommend you make this coffee ice cream. It is delicious. And even though I had 2 cups of coffee today, I think I might indulge in a little bit more. So subscribe to OnToReviews if you haven't already. We test products in our kitchen using real recipes to help you make informed decisions in your kitchen and have some fun also. Stay tuned for more. I'll link the playlist for all of the ice cream makers I've reviewed. We got more coming, so subscribe if you want to see those, and we'll see you soon.